Kia ora guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to, well, what is the first video for us of 2022. It's New Year's Day and we figured what way to kick off the year for us than cracking into the $100 disco. As you can tell by the title of the video and everything, we're bringing it back. It's been parked for probably 11 months. Last time you guys saw it, it was a mad rush to try and get it ready for the 2021 Waipa River Run. We've got a whole bunch of new plans for the truck. We'll talk you through it shortly, but first things first is we need to get this thing out. So yeah,
Take a look at it.
Yeah, it's kind of got one wheel right now, so we'll go and have a look at it, and then we'll go about trying to haul this thing out of the shed. So, oh, that is just one happy cat. Unresponsive. So here we are. For those of you who haven't seen it before, this is the $100 disco. It's a V8 Disco 1. We've put Nissan Safari axles, GQ axles under it. Major upgrade in strength, but that is about to change, which is quite exciting. And then come through here. This is where it all gets a bit fancy. It's got a 6-point cage and then a full truggy chop. So we've chopped the chassis right here, right behind the driver and passenger seat. And then it's all tube rear. We're running 14-inch coilovers. And all this was done on a huge budget, all with second-hand parts and things. As it sits, it probably owes me like $2,000, but unfortunately the reason it kind of stopped here is because it's still got all the expensive things needing doing. It did have a set of 36-inch Super Swampers, which you guys may remember. However, we sold those on to help pay for other things, and they just weren't really the right tyres for what we wanted to do anyway. So we've got new tyres coming for that. But yeah, this is where it's at. Fuel tank's ripped out. So first things first, we'll put some wheels on it and see if we can even get it started. Speaking of wheels, huge thank you to Craig. You guys will recognise his truck from some of the winch challenge videos. He has loaned us a set of tyres to roll it around on. Set of 36-inch CSTs no less, so that's quite exciting. We'll slap those on, try and get this thing started, and we'll go from there. Right guys, well, we've got 3 tyres on. We've got the 4th one that, you know, was already there. We've got the fuel tank in. We've got fuel in the tank. It's all plugged in. We've got a fresh battery. Other than the fact it's been sitting for nearly a year, there's no reason it shouldn't start now, so I guess we'll give it a crack. Fingers crossed, boys! I'll just prime it a few times.
I hear noises, mate. This is promising.
Right, we ready?
Send it.
You good thing! Yeah!
How good!
A whole year nearly! First try! Oh yes, it's good to have this thing back!
Oh, how good is that? Oh, so much yes.
That's rowdy. Oh, it's so good to have this back. We need to clean the windscreen. I can't see out of it. Right guys, well it'd be rude not to make sure everything's working alright since last time. So currently 2-wheel drive, that was the main problem with it, and the front drive shaft rubs the exhaust, so it's not going to be pleasant, but we'll take it for a quick jaunt, we'll call it, over to Mexico and test it. Alright guys, so while we're down here in Mexico, I think we'll walk you around the truck just briefly. So as you guys know, it's a Disco 1 V8, pretty basic, and as I mentioned earlier in the video, it's got GQ Safari axles, but in the rear it's got we've linked it, as you can see under there we've got all custom links, stretched the wheelbase so it's sitting at about 102, 103 wheelbase, 14-inch coilovers. We're going to have a fuel cell. There's a lot of cage work still to be done, and in fact we've decided to redo a lot of it, so unfortunately a lot of it's going to be chopped out, but it'll be for the greater good. It's just a cool truck. As you can see, custom link in there. It's got a shaved rear diff with trusses on it. Factory front end out of a SAF, literally just bolted straight in with a custom panhard. Nothing too fancy. Obviously it's currently sitting on Craig's CSTs, so it's looking pretty cool, and yeah, other than that, it's just a real cool bush truck. Alrighty guys, just before we wrap up today's video, I kind of wanted to expand a little bit more on HUNDY and kind of what the plans are for it, things like that. Like going back right to the beginning, initially, for those of you who don't know, who haven't been watching the channel since the beginning, it was a truck that we got given for free, missing some parts, and a week out of the White River Run back in 2020, I believe it was, Lando was broken, and we decided to build a truck out of this parts truck that we'd been given, and we built it for about $100 in 1 week. It was pretty basic, 33s, welded back diff, stripped out, and it was awesome. And yeah, it was an awesome truck. We only did a few drives in it, unfortunately, before it got parked. It was just a bit impractical because I didn't have a trailer or anything. But yeah, man, we had some good times in that truck the few times we took it out. And then the White River Run was coming up, so we decided to do some upgrades. I decided that the sensible thing to do is then put Safari axles under, and as you guys know, it all kind of went from there. We ended up deciding to truggy chop it, so chop the chassis, plated it, caged it, and the goal was to build like a 5 grand bush hack, and it kind of never really quite got there. We worked so hard on that truck, and me and Matt put in some big hours, and I think we actually got it running at around 6 AM on the morning of the 2021 Whiteborough River Run, which is when we're aiming to have version 2 done by. And yeah, we failed. Unfortunately, it turned out that we only had 2-wheel drive, and there's too much stuff unfinished to really warrant trying to drive the river run in 2-wheel drive. I'm sure it would have been plenty possible, especially with the 36s we still had, heaps of flotation, but it just wasn't happening. And over the time of building it, I'd learnt a lot, and yeah, there's too much I wanted to change, so we ended up pretty much parking the truck. And yeah, as you guys know, it sat for 11 months. And in those 11 months, it gave me a lot of time to think. A few things happened in my life. Firstly, I got the opportunity to film the Mainland Winch Challenge series. I'd already had one taster of the Winch Challenge series. I competed back in 2019. I did a round in Lando. In Lando, it did alright. Like, the truck's so not a comp truck. I thought it was until I turned up and went, oh far out, what have I got myself in for? Lando went amazingly the first 2 night stages. I think we're leading our class, and then the day stages came round, and I'd built the truck wrong. I didn't really know what I was doing. It had like a whopping massive winch on it, but only a tiny battery to run it, and we couldn't do hardly any of the winches or anything. And yeah, on top of that, it was a very wet event, and yeah, it kind of put me off winch challenges, to be honest. So I thought I'd be happy as just filming the 2021 series. However, by the end of the first event, I was itching to be driving. I knew that I had to do something, and the logical vehicle to you know, bring back into a comp truck, well, it was either going to be bringing back HUNDY or buying a new truck. I didn't have money for a new truck, so HUNDY was sitting there, and yeah, I started kind of planning. Yeah, in that year, I've got to meet a lot of awesome people. I've also, you know, learned a whole lot more about trucks. A lot of the stuff we'd done was just not quite right, and I wanted to change it. Like, it worked, but I knew it could be better. So what we're doing for this time round is we are building basically the best truck that I can possibly build for, you know, maximum return for minimal investment. So I'm going to spend on nice parts when necessary. I don't want this truck to be, you know, unreliable or anything like that, because yeah, as I say, I got the bug for the Winch Challenge just filming the series, and the goal is to be racing this year, 2022. So we have a few, like 3 or 4 months until the comps start. I mean, I'm going to try have it done well before then so we can get some testing in, but everything always takes longer than anticipated. Initially we decided we'd crack into it and try have it done for this year's Whiteborough River Run, which is now postponed anyway, but I mean, at the rate it's going, there's no way we're ever going to make it, not without, you know, doing things, bodging things, and, you know, not really sticking to my guns of trying to build as decent a comp truck as I can for the money that I've got available. The goal with this is obviously reliability, and I want a strong driveline. The motor is healthy but not super powerful, so my goal is to use that to my advantage, if that makes any sense at all. The idea being that, you know, it's not got heaps of power, so shouldn't be able to brake too much. So if I beef up the axles, and in fact we are going to be moving away from the GQ front axle, which might come as a surprise to you guys because we only just swapped it in. However, we've got some even bigger and better stuff coming, which is very exciting. In fact, it's just around the corner, but you guys can't see that just yet. But yeah, basically trying to build a bulletproof driveline, and then yeah, make as reliable truck as possible. Some people get a lot of enjoyment out of, you know, having a challenge, the truck breaking, overcoming it and keeping on going, and like, that's wonderful for them, but personally I don't get a whole lot of enjoyment out of that. I'd rather just be driving. I don't like the fact that, you know, you can invest a whole lot of, well, not invest, but you can put a whole lot of money into getting to an event or something like that only to have it let go early on in the competition. Well, definitely won't be the fastest, but I want to just want to have fun in this thing. That is something I should mention. We're not building this truck to be, you know, competing with the top guys. This thing's just for a bit of fun, and yeah, we're not expecting to be, you know, taking any trophies away or anything, but you never know. So yeah, now that you guys know the goals for the truck, kind of the backstory behind it, for those of you who are newer, I'm very excited to have HUNDY back on the channel. I'm really looking forward to progressing my skills as a fabricator more. Just in the year off, I've been doing lots of other projects, and just seeing the amount of increase in my skill level as a fabricator from a year ago to now it's awesome. Not gonna lie, it makes me look back at some of the work we did on this and really yeah, make me want to redo it. And in fact, as you'll see in the upcoming videos, we do end up chopping a whole bunch of the stuff that we did on this truck initially out, and starting almost from scratch again in the rear. Not much is staying from the original build. Basically, we just want to do it right. So we're going to call this version 2.5. I know version 2 never really finished happening, and we can't move on to version 3 because version 2 didn't happen, but we'll call it an upgrade over version 2. So version 2.5, here it is. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. It's awesome to have it back on the channel. We're going to be cranking out as much work on it as possible. I've got a whole bunch of videos recorded in advance. So where it's sitting at behind me, you've still got a few episodes before you'll catch up to that. So hopefully we can keep the content regular. We're going to be having heaps more shed videos, so I hope you guys enjoy them. I'm really interested to know what you guys want to see in terms of if there's anything you want us to go into more detail on, like setting up suspension, talking about like the geometry of things, about axles. Like, we're going through the whole truck. So if there's any particular areas you want us to really touch base on, let me know down in the comments, and I'll certainly try and do as much as I can for you. We will be going into a lot of depth with this series. I really want to, you know, dig deeper than we usually would. I mean, the last build series, we built the truck in like 3 or 4 episodes. No way is that happening this time. I want to really go into depth and yeah, share what I've learned, and yeah, you know, learn together. Basically show you guys the hurdles we'll have to overcome, ways you can get around things, all sorts of stuff. So I hope you guys are excited for it. I know I certainly am, and Matt's itching to get chopping HUNDY up even more. So with that, leave us a like if you've enjoyed today's video. Drop a comment down below of what you thought of it and what you want to see. I'm very excited for it. Make sure to hit subscribe to stay tuned for everything else we've got coming. I'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers for watching, guys. We'll see you then. Approved fuel device.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like a bit of diff oil is just, you know, quite a good fuel additive. Just sort of lubricates the inside of the fuel tank quite nicely.
Definitely not because we lost our jerry cans.
No. What do you want about?